What is up, YouTube? My name is Michael, and today we are going to be looking at my Witchcrafter Spellbook deck. And my reasoning for mixing these two is because when the when the Witchcrafter deck was announced and how it revolved around spell cards, I was really excited because spellbooks are my favorite deck. So I was trying to, find the bridge between the two decks because I just wanted to make spellbooks feel playable again outside of either going for that OTK version with Priestess or the Floodgate the deck type deck. But anyway, we're gonna get into it. Three Witchcrafter Master Madame Verre. I keep looking at the OCG name translation, but it's Madame Verre. She negates stuff, which is great. So you can discard a spell to negate all face-up monsters your opponent controls, and that's fantastic. And if they attack you, you can reveal spells with different names. If they attack a spellcaster, I should say. But yeah, they attack any spellcaster. You can reveal spells in your hand with different names, and hey, just power it up, and that's great. Two, Haine. He pops cards and protects your other spellcasters from targeting. So yeah, that's very good. So the basic ideas behind the deck is you want to get out these two and back it up with the Spellbook of Fate, and then you're gonna grind out your opponent with in the game of attrition. So we got three Schmiettas. All of the little cards in the deck, all the little Witchcrafters in the deck, let you discard a spell card to special summon a Witchcrafter from your deck. So you're always gonna get a first turn Madame Verre or Haine. Personally, I like getting Madame Verre more than Haine on turn one. But there's certain decks that I could imagine where you would want to play Haine. Anyway, she has a graveyard effect. All of them have that discard effect to special summon one for the deck, and all of them have a graveyard effect. Her graveyard effect is you can banish this card from your graveyard to send a Witchcrafter card from your deck to the graveyard, except herself. This is great because the spell cards allow you to add them back to your hand while they're in the graveyard as long as you can control a Witchcrafter monster. So what this engine does for the deck is it allows you to have a judgment-like effect, a spellbook of judgment-like effect, while you play these good boss monsters or fine boss monsters to slow down your opponent until you win the game. Alright, so we got three Pittore, and her graveyard effect is you draw a card and then you send a Witchcrafter card from your hand to the graveyard. And if you can't, you banish your hand. It's like a Lure of Darkness, but it gets you cards like one card deeper into your deck if you need it. Sometimes you don't have the right answers for the cards, and yeah, it can help. Three Blue Boy, he's just good. He searches out any spellbook. You know the drill. Two of Potterie. Her graveyard effect lets you recover a Witchcrafter card from your graveyard as long as you have no cards in your hand. I find this card at 2 because it's harder to get its effect off, because with the way this deck works is you're gonna have a lot of cards in your hand most of the time. So she's more of a, if all else fails, she's the recovery play. Three Knowledge. Three Knowledge is in here because one, it draws you cards, and that's fine. It's a spell card to ditch if you don't want to get rid of any of your spellcaster monsters on the field, or if you don't want to discard any of the spellbook cards in your hand. It also once you get these two out, you don't need to really play the rest of your cards, or at least you don't need to summon more of them because they're hard once per turn by names. So you can just start sending these to the graveyard with it, and that's fine too. And it draws you cards, and you can use the graveyard effects. Power is to help get over things, because even though you have Madame Verre to do that, there's still times where maybe you don't have her. Maybe things aren't going exactly correct, but power still helps. Master, because Master as a 2-of is always a staple in spellbooks. Anytime I've tried to cut it, it just always felt bad, or even cut it to 1, something usually goes wrong. 3 Creation to search out the Witchcrafters, and yeah, and it adds back to your hand if you hadn't used it, and all the spells do that. 2 Eternity, is that one, like I said, at 1, most of the spellbook cards, except for Power, really feel bad at 1, and Wisdom, but we'll get to that in a minute. And so this can add back from when you banish with Fate. Sabotage, fine. Like, I've barely ever actually used the special summon effect, but when I do, it's usually the card I need. 3 Secrets to search more. Wisdom to protect from spells and traps. I know that, like, most people aren't going to play main deck Raigeki anymore, but there are still people online that do. And there are still people that play like a bunch of trap cards, and it's more of a security blanket. I could see wanting to cut Wisdom, like I accidentally did. This is, hold on. But yeah, I can see wanting to cut Wisdom, and if you do, that's perfectly fine. Maybe move it to the side deck, and then play. You could also just play Secret Village of the Spellcasters too. Spellbook of Fate, it's pretty good. Spellbook of Fate, and with these two out, is what your goal is with the deck. You have multiple ways of removal. You have negation, and all that. So you're good. Another backup is for card advantages. You have Scroll. Scroll is when a spellcaster destroys a monster per battle. Once returned, you get to draw a card. It and the other continuous spell you don't have to discard for your little ones, or for your effects of Witchcrafter monsters to activate. You can send them to the graveyard instead. And then during the end phase, they get placed back into your monster zone. But, that's if you don't use the first effect that lets you send. But this card's fine. I can see dropping this to 1 too for a village. Witchcrafter Bystreet is, you have to have it. It protects your Witchcrafter monsters from being destroyed by battle or by card effect once, and that is great. And it says each too. It says each. So if they try to attack Verre, and if they try to get over Verre and destroy it, it doesn't, and then they have to try another card to destroy that same card. Because if they try to go, well, I'm going to attack a different monster, Witchcrafter Bystreet will protect that as well. So it's protection against board wipes to when they bring it in as well. So this is a card that you must have. It's a must-have card, at least at 2. And then 2 Grand Towers. Grand Tower is good card advantage. And we're gonna I guess we'll get into the extra deck. The extra deck doesn't really matter. I would say that, like, Crowley maybe is the better one. But none of them are really, like, that great. The Crowley, I guess you can make Crowley and then you can just normal summon one of these. But for the most part, he's not the best. But yeah, that was the deck. I hope you enjoyed, and if it's your birthday today, happy birthday.